Good day, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Van Life DJ with my trusty co-host, Lady Bella. Looks like her allergies are starting to make a return visit recently. We're gonna have to get that looked into. Today is not gonna make the most entertaining video, but due to the fact it involves the van, I'm needing to document it anyways. As a last-ditch effort to try and get the van running smooth again, we're gonna do some DIY servicing on the Kid and Play van. I'm not a mechanic, but I'm also not opposed to doing some mechanical work occasionally, especially in this situation where if the servicing does not resolve matters, we're taking the tranny in to get rebuilt anyways. So basically, we have nothing to lose by attempting to change the filter and fluid. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So what we got here are some different things we're gonna need for this operation. We got a box, a flat cardboard box to put under the van so we can work on it without getting dirt and grass on us, and also to help catch any of the fluid that goes on the ground. It'll get on the cardboard before it gets on the ground. But I'm going to use a bucket, so hopefully we won't have much of an issue. I got a bucket also. Hold on, let me get the bucket. So we got this trusty Lowe's bucket. I recently got this bucket. I don't know where I was when I got it, but there was nobody around. I don't know if it's a campsite or on the side of the road, but nobody was around, and the bucket was just sitting there. There was no residents, nothing. It was like in the middle of nowhere, and I just grabbed it. I said, great, I need a bucket. And it works out great. I tested it, there's no leaks. I cleaned it out. So we're gonna dump the transmission fluid in there. Hopefully when the van's jacked up, that bucket will fit underneath it. That's what I'm hoping. So we got various tools. I got some socket sets, T25s. This has got a T25 in it too. And I only need one of them, but I got multiple options. I got some various size sockets and bits that I might need in here that I've already taken out and placed inside here, so we're good to go. Now, if the transmission fluid looks halfway decent when it comes out, after it goes in the bucket, I might pour it back into these jugs and try to reuse some of it. Most likely I'm going to get a brand new container of it though. I believe it takes a little more than one container, so it'll be mostly new fluid and a little bit of old fluid. Most likely that's how I'm going to do it, unless the fluid's really, really bad and really gross looking. It's a total of 1 gallon and then a small container, I think, is the total needed, but I'll research that more as we get closer. The main thing to do right now is just get the old fluid out and get the filter changed. I got the filter here. I got the gasket and the filter. I got this drill right here, the Kita drill that I can put my socket sets onto, but I don't think I'm going to use that because it's a little too powerful and I don't want to strip anything, so I think I'm just going to ratchet it down. I got this ratchet, and then I got a smaller one also, which I don't know where it is, but I'll find it in a minute. This is another set with a T25 in it, but I don't think I'm going to need that. Here's a torque wrench. I don't think I'm going to need that. We'll see. Maybe I will. I don't know. And then I got these jack stands. Alright, let's get on out there and get this van lifted up. The weather is absolutely amazing today. It's a perfect day and perfect weather to get this job done. Thankfully, I have this cart, Lady Bella's cart. I'm using it today to roll out the tools with, so I don't have to carry each item one by one out to the front. I just load it up in the cart, and it's smooth sailing on out to the van at the front of the house. I parked the van up on a sidewalk, right just across the sidewalk a little bit, so I could put the hydraulic jack underneath it, keep it stable. Using grass to jack up a van is definitely not a suggested idea. The sidewalk or a flat concrete surface makes a way better solid foundation to lift the van up on. I wound up getting another bucket because this Lowe's bucket was too big. So I had a bucket from Car Guys that's almost half the size of this bucket. I put some floor jacks underneath the van also, just for extra support in case anything goes wrong with the hydraulic jack or it didn't want to do its job. These floor jacks will help support the van. Here you can see the setup for the jacks. Everything's lifted up perfectly. Good job, good job. Now I'm gonna align the cardboard box that I brought out, get that in place. And here we go. Using the ratchet to take apart the bolts that hold the pan in. I forgot what sizes they are. The size that I looked on YouTube videos and found the sizes. Somebody mentioned them in other videos, actually multiple videos I watched, and the size they actually suggested I use wasn't the right size. So my suggestion is just get something that looks close, put it up there. If it's too small, get a bigger one. If it's too big, get a smaller one until you get the right fit. That's the best way to do it. You really only need two. One socket for the pan bolts, and then you need one T socket for the screws that hold the filter in, and that's basically all you need. So like I said, just look around for the right size. Other YouTube videos, I always watch multiple YouTube videos when I do these type of operations. I always look at multiple videos just to see if one has different information from the other one. But as I said, the information I got didn't seem to be accurate, so I wound up just guessing and trying a couple different sockets till I got the right fit. She's leaking faster. Oh shit. Damn it. There it is. Good job, good job. Way to go. The next step, remove this filter, transmission pan filter. There's only a couple bolts that hold it in. It's pretty simple. You want to get all these pieces of gasket off of the pan off the pan and also off the transmission frame itself. You want to make sure you get all those little pieces that are stuck on there off on both sides. A lot of stuck on, baked on little pieces of gasket. You want to make sure you get all those off so you get a nice clean surface. Oh. This is probably the most important part of the process, because any little debris or any little those rubber particles left over from the old gasket stay stuck on there, and then you're gonna have a little lip or a little advantage where the new gasket could have a breach and fluid could leak out. So you want to make sure you get the rim perfectly smooth on both sides, on the transmission side and on the transmission pan side when that comes off. You want to scrape every little particle you see sticking up, every little piece of rubber gasket that's left on. They bake on really good because of the heat. You want to make sure you get those all completely off. Scrape, scratch, and probably using an X-Acto blade would probably be better, but I was able to do it just fine with the flathead screwdriver for most of it. But like I said, an X-Acto knife or scraper blade might even work better. After you're done with that, grab some paper towels, clean everything smooth, get everything wiped off really smooth. Like I said, you don't want any little particles that stick up, especially on this rim. Feel around inside the holes where the filter goes back into. Make sure there's nothing clogged up in there, so that way the filter will seat in comfortably without any resistance or anything blocking it. Make sure you keep track of your bolts so you don't lose them. I didn't use the torquing specs or the torquing ratchets, so make sure you guys do that. I would suggest doing that. For me, it wasn't needed because this was a fail anyways. I didn't have any leakage. I checked that after I got everything closed back up. I checked for leakage. Even on the next day, I was checking again with the cardboard underneath it. Nothing was leaking out overnight, so everything worked out good. However, I still suggest you use the torque specs to get it all put back together. Make sure you lubricate this gasket before you put it on. Use some of the old transmission fluid and just rub on it really good. Get it nice and lubricated, because that's very important. I did a cardboard test overnight and made sure there wasn't any leaking. But either way, I still suggest you guys use the torque specs and get it torqued down according to the specifications. I didn't do that, and it worked out anyways. It still worked out good. But either way, don't do it the way I did it, because that's definitely not the right way to do it. Get it tightened up according to the factory specifications. So it's a bit of a long reach for the funnel. So what I did is put a smaller funnel down below. I've seen other people do the same thing. It's the best way to do it, unless you got a super long funnel that'll get to everything. So what you do is put a small funnel in here first. Smaller funnel goes in first. Make sure it's nice and snug in there. And this one just lays into that one. So it reaches all the way out, and keep the cup to the downward angle so you don't spill anything. So that's pretty much it. And then you got two funnels make one. Got everything put back together. We took a test drive, and it doesn't look like it's working out, guys. This was a failure. Transmission still slipping out of gear when it's not supposed to be. I even tested it the next day, tested it again. It was still not driving right, and it seems like it started getting worse and worse as the more I was testing it. It was getting worse and worse. So there were no leaks. I tested that with the like I said, with the cardboard test that I did. Nothing was leaking out. The fluid was not leaking. So it looks like we're on our way to the transmission shop to get a rebuild done, which I knew was going to be the case anyways. I knew this was going to be a no-go either way, but I wanted to do it anyways, just because I need to learn how to do this stuff, and I wanted to get some content done, and there was a small chance it would work, but I kind of knew it wouldn't. However, I moved ahead with the operation anyways, and the operation would have been a success, except the transmission is just no good. Just needs to be rebuilt. The dipstick's a no-go. Dipstick is a no-go. Not gonna work. Went into reverse really well, and it went into drive really well. So far, we're doing okay. I'm curious to see how it shifts when it gets up to speed. A little shift, and it didn't feel quite perfect. Ay. What a mess. It's running better, but it's not perfect. Clearly, it's not perfect. So yeah, it's clearly not shifting gears well. Clearly not shifting gears well, but it's driving better than it was. Time to get cleaned up and get on off to work. Got a DJ tonight. Taco Tuesday. All right, y'all. Peace.